Hello everyone, it's me Chris, and here we are 1 week into the new year, and I'm going to start a video blog. Um, I've been wanting to start one for a while, but might as well take advantage of 2017 first week just passed. So I think the way I'm going to do it is every week at the start of the week I'll make a video blog where I talk about the week that just passed and whether I made progress as this project, Chris Sky, as an artist or the person, just how the week went, in both points of views, um, as an artist and as myself as a person. And if I was lazy, then I have to say that I was lazy. I just want to give an honest um, opinion on how I felt the week went. So I'll release it at the start of every week. Um, and then after I talk about the week that just passed, um, I'll talk about a subject. It could be anything from music to pop culture to nature to sports. I love all that, so I will talk about all those. I'll try to keep it in a little circle. Music. I love tennis. I'll probably be talking about tennis sometimes. So it's music, tennis, nature, and a little bit of pop culture. Um, there are way too many good political YouTube channels for me to talk about that. That just absolutely uh, beat the crap out of my knowledge of politics. So there's no need for me to talk about that. You can see who I'm subscribed to if you want to see who I follow for that. But yeah, I'll leave that to better uh, YouTube channels. So, but yeah, I kind of keep it in a little circle of subjects. It's just so I won't throw you all too off. If it's something that you don't really care about, then just skip past the video blog, or just watch the first 5 minutes. So I'll get started. Today I'm going to talk about music after I talk about my first week of the year. Since it's the first one, might as well talk about a subject that I think I can talk free about without having to think too hard. So yeah, but first, the first week of the year just passed, and how was it for me as an artist and a person? As an artist, a couple things happened. I immediately recorded a little video for my YouTube channel and my Facebook. It's my song Divine, and excuse me, I recorded an acoustic version of my song Divine and put it out. And I did it pretty quick, and I'm pretty happy with the angles that I shot. Lately I've been shooting with a kind of a better camera, but that one actually was my iPhone. But I recently installed some better lighting here in this studio of mine, and it's made a big difference even with the iPhone footage. So yeah, that footage looks pretty good actually. It's not even my better camera. And with that being said, these video blogs will get a little higher in quality by next week. I don't have my good camera right now, so right now you're seeing you know, selfie camera on an iPhone and the sound that the mic picks up. So yeah, I recorded that little live performance and was pretty happy with it. And then rehearsed early in the week, which is good, with a live full band. And then on Thursday, I did a little live performance. I did 3 songs. I did Where the Fire Burns, Rock and Roll Loser, and what's the last one? Beauty Lotto, actually. And yeah, it went pretty well. It's it's the first time that I take the stage with a full band. And I've been around as Chris Sky for a long time, but I've never actually put together the full band to actually play my songs on stage. So the next step is to book some full shows, which I got a couple dates that I'm working on right now. As soon as I get them solid dates, I will put them on my Facebook. So look for that. Let's see what else. I just booked an acoustic show for January 21st here in my hometown, and so I'm excited about that. Acoustic, I enjoy doing it. It's kind of a singer-songwriter thing, I pick a list of songs and I practice them, and then I'll usually play that list exactly how I practiced it. but right now I'm really excited about the full band. I can't wait to start showing it off. But with that being said, I got to make sure that it's of a certain standard and that that it's good. But it's right around the corner. I mean, I'm already booking shows, so yeah, just look out for my Facebook to see when I post them. I'll be posting them very soon, actually. So let's see, what else did I do? I felt like it was a pretty productive week, actually. Trying to book shows, booking an acoustic show, rehearsing with the band always feels nice, and then playing a couple songs live in a bar here in my hometown. It felt nice. I think we did a good job. I can't ask for more for a first performance. I think it went pretty good, but I think it'll get better and better as it goes on. By the time I get to the full shows, from maybe 8 or 9, 10 song sets, I think we'll be ready to put a smile on people's faces. I do think it was a productive week, and that's what I'm trying to set the tone for the rest of the year, to not give in to laziness, and to just make sure that every week is better than the last, in some way. If you hear that, it's my cat trying to reach for a toy under the door. He does that. He kicks the toy in so that I can throw it back. I think he knows I'm talking about him. Anyways, okay, so yeah, good week to start the year off. Before I get to music in general, I'd like to announce that I'm going to be a dad. I'm going to be a father. That is something that this is the first time father to a daughter, and I'm beyond excited. I wasn't too sure whether I was going to even share that here, but why not, right? So I'm extremely excited about that. It's pretty close. My baby is due somewhere in March, somewhere in the early part of March. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that, and yeah, so I'm extremely happy about that. And if anything, it's actually pushing me to really not waste time this year. I got to get going as an artist here, because it's what I say I do. So might as well really spend every minute of the day, trying to get to a higher level. And I think that perfectly segues into music in general. And I'm going to try to speak a little bit about music as a fan, but also as an artist. And once again, I'm not always going to talk about music. First video blog, why not start about something that I think, like, I can just talk a little free. If I'm talking about nature, I'm going to be a little more careful, because I don't feel like, I'm like I know a ton about it. But music, I've been doing it for a while, so I know a couple things. So yeah, start with music. So 2017, we're 1 week into it, and doesn't it feel like things change so fast now? Like, more than ever before. I'm sorry, I'm looking at a mosquito. I can't stand mosquitoes. Doesn't it feel like things change just so fast now? Like, and I'm sorry if I sound like, get off my lawn, but I hear it buzzing. I got it. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. I apologize for that. But I do not want to have a mosquito buzzing in my ear for the entire video blog. Anyways, yeah, I'm not trying to sound like some reminiscing about the old days, or I'm all for moving forward and embracing new technologies, and just embracing new ways of thinking, ways of doing things. But things change fast now, and I mean, like, oh man, it's hard to even explain. I mean, we all know. I mean, I'm not saying this isn't new news to you. You know this. Whether it's politics, whether it's just pop culture, just how people in general deal with things, read the news, get into things. You know, it's all just changing so fast. What we're into, what we're listening to, what we're watching, it's all changing so fast. And it would be silly to think that that doesn't step into the world of music. It absolutely does. Um, and I've been wanting to talk about something like this for a while now, but I've kind of been reluctant because I feel I don't want to come off like I'm complaining. I love writing music, I love recording it, and I love performing the music more than anything, uh, at least in the music sense. And I enjoy it, and I don't want to come off like I'm complaining because I do enjoy that aspect more than any other part of music, the performing, the writing, all the creation process. Love it, but it's natural to think that you want your music to get to ears, to get to people. Uh, I think in anything you do, that's the goal. So making this video and talking about music and like the music industry and just the way music is consumed nowadays, listened to, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. At the same time, I want to get the music. I want to get these ideas out to people because I think they're very common sense. And I mean, some of you may know exactly what I'm talking about. Some may say, "Hey, well, you know what? Some talent rises to the top. Some never gets there. It's just tough luck, you know. Or you got to work hard, or maybe you're not talented enough." It's not always that simple. It's not always that clear cut. Um, and I will be here to remind you of that. Um, so I'm just gonna talk about it anyways, regardless of how it comes off. I feel like I work hard on my product, so I can stand by everything I've recorded. You know, it's been a learning process, and I feel like my catalog is pretty big at this point, and it goes all the way back to 2005, 2009, and all the way till now. You know, you can literally see where I'm learning as I'm recording if you go all the way back to the catalog. But I can stand by it. It's what I feel the song was when I wrote it, and that's what I feel a recording should be. Kind of like a stencil for what your song is. But yes, I'm constantly learning and constantly trying to get better. And you can see that in the catalog, for sure. But I want to talk a little bit about music and how it reaches people nowadays. And the two different ways of looking at the music industry. Now, I don't want to say the music industry like I'm a part of the industry that you all know. You know, the one that signs bands, signs artists to all these different record labels. There's less and less, but yes, record labels, managements, everything we've known growing up. You know, like, oh, I want to be a music star, and that's how it works. Get signed. You know, you work on your product and you record a big album, and hopefully something sticks with a good campaign. You know, if money's put into the product, maybe the right song will fly, and all of a sudden you will have fans. You'll be placed on the radio, and maybe maybe MTV if this is like a decade ago. Um, actually, more than a decade ago. It's been a while since they played music, really. Uh, but yes, you know what I'm talking about. The music industry. But I'm not going to say that's dying or going away 100%. It is changing, and it is opening up for more variety and more ways to hear music. Obviously, it goes without saying, it almost sounds silly. The internet has changed music. Everyone knows that. But here I am, many years after I started this solo project, still trying to get the music out. And I'm not going to say it's not difficult. It's very difficult. But at the same time, I can literally tell you, you know, with a serious face, I can tell you there is a lot of, how can I say, people know that they can find music outside of the music industry. Like, I'm not part of the music industry. I'm not signed to any label. I'm not signed to management. I'm not there. In different projects over my career, I've been signed to labels. But on my solo project right now in particular, I'm not signed. So okay, so why is that important in this day and age where basically I can release a song on iTunes, on Spotify? Uh, thank God we're able to actually put our music out through those outlets. But yes, that's nice. But whether you're a do-it-yourself artist or your major label, your music can be on Spotify and iTunes and many other digital, all that stuff. That's great, But so what's the upside of being on a label and being do-it-yourself? Well, the upside is there's a plan. You are on a label. There's a plan for you. You automatically know people. You're hanging around people that know people that have the. It's like you go to an event. Can you get backstage? No, you probably can't, right? Somebody's at the door and they say, no, you can't come back. Do you have a pass? No. Well, then you can't come back, right? I mean, it's the same thing for a band or for an artist that wants to play a festival that, the more you learn about the industry, you're not even going to try because you just know how hard it is. And, you're not going to sweet talk, oh, let my band in, or, oh, I'm good, or that's just not going to happen. There's gatekeepers, and it's just, you're not going to budget unless you are already into one of the labels who can get you management and, vice versa. It's a little easier that way than it is the other way. Manager getting a label, that can be difficult. But it works hand in hand. One of the things I noticed, okay, well, first, just to complete my thought process here, all of a sudden you're not signed, you're do-it-yourself. Well, you don't have that. You don't have the gatekeepers, okay? You may be on Spotify, you may be on iTunes, but you don't have the gatekeepers to let you in, to get on, satellite radio, much less Clear Channel. Well, is it even Clear Channel anymore? iHeart Music, all the different stations that that shotgun your music out to millions of people, or hundreds of thousands if you're on a smaller label. Can still get you into festival lineups, and they're the plan. And people enjoy watching the plan. Now, I've noticed that they enjoy you succeeding. But here's a good observation I've made. People will automatically feel good about an artist because things are going well for them. They see the plan. They're getting into things that they would consider legit, and that makes people happy with the music they're listening to. Excuse me, whoever it is. All of a sudden, you're not signed, and you're not getting into those legit events. Even if the music is what you would say is good, there is an automatic. There's just something mentally that happens with people, fans of artists that aren't doing these things, where you almost feel like, you gravitate towards the ones that are. And I've been studying that for a long time, and I can't to this day tell you exactly why that is. It's just maybe just something that's built in in the way we are as people. Maybe it's culture. Maybe it's a lot of things. But I do it myself. You could say, well, who are you listening to lately? And I can guarantee you, it's going to be some artist that's signed to some label. It's not easy. It's not easy to find artists that you like that are not. And let me tell you, there are so many really good artists all over the place. It's never been more open. Like, Bandcamp is a website that, if you can't find good music on Bandcamp, I'm sorry, the problem is not the bands or the artists, it's you. Bandcamp has you can look up the most obscure obscure genre on Bandcamp, and you'll find more bands and artists than you can ever need to hear. It's just so many. And most people on Bandcamp tend to, from what I've seen, be a little more serious about what they're doing. So a lot of times, actually, the music on Bandcamp tends to be good. You'll find a good band right away. So I think it's opening up. I do think that people are learning that, okay, you know what? I may not like the mainstream, but I don't have to hear the mainstream. I can hear the music I like on Bandcamp or on SoundCloud. I've been preferring Bandcamp a lot more lately, though. I think it's a little easier to find music. the way it's set up. You know, it's a little, SoundCloud to me is kind of messy. You don't know where to begin. The search is kind of odd. Like you search for someone, you don't find it. I won't even find myself sometimes on there, and it'll say different names first. Um, but yeah, but the sites are there, and there's no excuse to not find music you like, even if it's do it yourself. And that kind of brings me to the point of, uh, is it gonna blossom? Is that mentality of supporting artists and music that has become a part of something legit? Is that something that can ever change? Like, I don't know. At the same time, when you become very popular, I feel like that's all that needs to happen. Like, I've seen YouTube artists, even if it's covers or a comedian or just a big channel, I've seen people treat the content maker like the way they would like any other, successful person. So that tells me that, yeah, it can change. You just have to make it happen in your career or whatever it is you're doing. So that brings me to the point where I don't think music needs the record label, the even the management, all that stuff. Like, it's not something that I feel you have to have anymore. I don't see it going anywhere completely. I think it's around. I'm not campaigning for it to be dismantled. I'm just saying I think it can go coexist. I don't think they'd like it as much. Uh, I don't think the record industry would like to be challenged as much. I don't think they'd like to be challenged. Put it that way. But at the same time, it's can they avoid it at this point? I mean, there are channels that are massive, dedicated towards tapping things like ASMR. I mean, it's if you never heard of ASMR, check it out. It's kind of just a quick description would be like if you ever open the window, you like the sound of the rain, or if you like the sound of the wind. Content makers make peaceful sounds, nice sounds, so that you can relax and just chill out. That's ASMR. And there's all sorts of content makers that tap on things, whisper, and it may sound weird if you never heard of it, but once you get used to it, you'll realize that it's for relaxation purposes, and it's really cool. It's a really cool tool to have to just chill out. But there's content makers that they're just killing it. I mean, a lot of them. Then obviously it goes without saying, gaming, makeup artists, politics. There's all these new faces. I think there's more faces coming out of YouTube than there is of Hollywood. Because I mean, it's a natural thing. It makes sense to me that it's happening like that. Like, when's the last time, you've been blown away by a movie, anyways? Right? I mean, it happens. There's good movies, but there's also a lot of lazy, crappy movies. I'll just say it. There is. Just like in music, I feel like a lot of times the budget's there, they can do it, so there's a lot of flops, lots of. Just because it sounds like $1,000,000 doesn't mean it's worth anything artistically, But yes, there is quality in Hollywood, of course. There's endless quality, really, because you're talking about not just actors or musicians or singers, but also technicians and lighting experts, geniuses that behind the mix boards, and engineers, and you hate to leave them out of Hollywood, because they've actually done so much for it over the years and don't always get the credit. Writers as well, of course. But yeah, I think there's a lot of lazy movies with big budgets, of course. And I feel that people, just like the whole, and I'm not going to really get into the whole political thing, but kind of like how the whole subject of fake news has been going around. Like, everyone thinks the side that they don't like is fake news, and then all of a sudden, big news is calling alternative news fake news, and it's just become this big circle of just everyone with fake news. I think that people have caught on for the most part and are calling it out, like, hey, you know what, Hollywood, stop making crap movies, make something intelligent for once, and there is. But I think people would like to see it a little bit more in the mainstream, and like the immediate mainstream, and that goes for music. Man, this is to my people that are above the age of at least 30, right? You would remember when the Grammys actually had different genres of music from beginning to end. It felt like a long show, but you'd see a concerto pianist, a classical pianist, and then you'd see a jazz singer, and then you'd see maybe 20 minutes of the pop world that was popular at the time. And then you'd see rock and roll, and then you'd see even heavy metal, and then you'd see just everything, adult contemporary, it's just not like that anymore now. It's basically what I always remember the MTV Awards to be like. That's kind of like what the Grammys have now become. And I think it's a rating thing, and it's not just a rating thing. It's also an influence thing. Like, I really do feel that it's used to influence and kind of shoot out the ideas that these companies want to shoot out. I think that's just as important to them as money and power and all that stuff. I've been doing it for long enough to notice that it's not always just about money, or that's all with the money. That's all they want. No, sometimes it's a little more than that. It's a complete package of money / getting those ideas out there to influence, and it's very true. It happens, and that's how they run it. But people have caught on. That's the thing. People have caught on, and just like the whole fake news thing, I think music will follow. People are starting to say, you know what? I don't even need that. I have enough music that I like. I'll just hear the old music that I listen to, or I'll go on Bandcamp, or I'll go on SoundCloud, or I'll go on YouTube and discover music. That's why artists like me, we have to work hard, because it's there. Like, there's people there. Hi, I'm right here in my little box here. I'm a real artist, and there's no difference between me and someone else that's worked hard for it, that's got signed to a label. There really isn't. I'm a hardworking artist too, and the only difference is that most people have not heard me yet. That's it. If a lot of people hear me and don't like me, then I'll have to improve something, But it's sad that a lot of times that the industry has kind of gotten to the point where it's not really like, well, that guy, I like him, but I don't like this, or that artist, I like him, but I don't like that. There's so much of that in the industry, to the point where, like, this much of an ocean gets signed, and that's all you're seeing. Well, that's all you were seeing, and I think things are changing so fast that even maybe the industry can't keep up with that. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a coexisting for a while, until things start, it gets easy for people to understand they can find music outside of that music industry. Anyways, I realized I didn't talk much about music as a fan. I do love music. Obviously, that in my life revolves around it, and I think all of our lives revolve around music, really. There's some times where it gets you through things, emotional. I'm very into stage music. I love Disney musicals. I've always loved Disney musicals. And sometimes, like the other day, I was driving and I had been sick. December was horrible for me with thickness, and you can still hear me. I have a little cough still. That's I feel like it's on its way out already. But December was horrible. I got sick 3 times. I got 3 colds in December, and I was shaking lots of hands, meeting lots of people in December, and everyone's inside clubs, and so it gets passed around. The whole area where I'm from was just, everyone was sick. But I got 3 colds, and yeah, I was just feeling horrible for a while. And then like right when the New Year started, this first week, I started feeling good on like Monday, Tuesday, and I was driving down the street with my windows open, and I was listening to the new soundtrack for Moana, the new Disney movie, and it's just, if you haven't seen it, it's a great movie. I think it's a great follow-up to the Frozen musical from a few years back. A little different. I feel like Frozen may have been the more complete movie. I feel like from beginning to end, so much happens, and the songs are very seamless, and the story is seamless, and all the characters just come together. There's lots of things in Frozen. There's comedy. It pulls at your heartstrings. It's got all that. It's creative. Got a good twist. Moana's not quite like that. It's a little bit more of a solid story from the beginning to end. It's got a lot of, if it does have one thing more than Frozen, I will say it's got more emotion. It's a little more emotional. And I won't say the story because if you haven't seen it, but it's, to me, it's a little more emotional than Frozen is actually, and the music is just beautiful. Um, what's his name? Lin Manuel Miranda wrote the music, and from the Broadway play Hamilton. And you hear it. You hear that the music's beautiful. It's stunning music, and I was driving, feeling good, and I had the windows down, and I was blasting the song. We know the way, and people were kind of getting a laugh, on the side of me. I didn't care because that's music, That's what it is. Whatever speaks to you musically. And I always say, I don't hate on different genres because I feel like if enough people like them, there's something about it that does something for a large group of people. So I tend to give that large group a bit the benefit of the doubt, and I would hope they do the same to me. Of course, that's not always the case, but I'm okay with that. I do what I do. I listen to what I listen to. So with that said, how long have I been talking? Let's see. Not too bad. 31 minutes. I will call it there for today. I hope you enjoyed this video blog. If I can summarize what I said in 31 minutes in 30 seconds, I will say that I do feel like unsigned artists are finding their way in this 21st century, 2017, where things change so quick. And I'll leave it with, not only are things changing that make it hard and in some ways easier for an artist like myself, easier in the fact that the people are there and the outlets are there. It's up to us to be creative and find a way, because on the hard side of it, with all the viral videos getting thrown out lately, and there's some great videos, it's hard to compete with that when what you do is music. Because I sometimes feel like while music is so important, it gets lost in the craziness of all these great viral videos. When's the last time you've seen just like a music video? It's like, oh, that's so cool, I'm going to share it. See, music videos don't get shared that much because, well, to be quite honest, they don't give you that quick little like burst of awesomeness that like a viral video will give you. So it kind of gets lost in that. And I just want to give a little reminder to just, maybe next time you see a music video, give it a chance. It'll take 3 minutes, and you may help an artist that will be extremely excited, or should be at least extremely excited for you to share it or like it or something like that. So yeah, I think it's opening up for do-it-yourself artists big time. We just got to be creative. And yeah, my first week went pretty good. Hopefully my next week goes even better, and I will see you then. Rock on, everybody.